Hey guys, it's Mary Payne. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Monday, and normally we have Love After Lockup, but they're still on hiatus for a few more weeks. So today I'm going to give you a wonderful interview that I just did with the Davis family. Now, you guys know the Davis family from Seeking Sister Wife. This is Nick and Jennifer. Of course, Nick is also with April and Danielle, and they're seeking a new wife this season. I find them to be delightful, and I find them to be all sort of encompassing and loving of one another and all in it for the right reasons and not weird like the Merrifields or whoever. That's just my opinion. But I loved talking to them. So I hope you enjoyed this interview with Nick and Jennifer Davis. And also, I want to remind you guys of the LA Bunkie Meetup, March 30th. That's this weekend, March 30th at the Mosaic Hotel. The link will be in show notes. It is from 7 to 9. It's going to be outdoor by a gorgeous pool. There will be heat lamps if you LA people will get cold when it's like 50 degrees. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to get a free glass of bubbly when you walk in. We're going to have some swag giveaways. There'll be like t-shirts for sale or whatnot. You'll get to meet me. You'll get to meet Ingrid. Oh, we're going to bring some personal fans you guys can buy, our little personal fans with our logo. That'll be cute. But you'll get to meet me. You'll get to meet Ingrid. Kimberly from A Date with Dateline will be there. And I've invited some other podcasters and people. I don't know who's going to show up. I can't promise anything, but at least I'll be there. Kimberly will be there. Ingrid will be there. So the link is in the show notes for that. Tomorrow I will have a 90-day Happily Ever After with Kimberly. Thursday, I'm going to be doing Bravo, talking about VPR and the Valley with Deanna Chang. And this weekend will be Bunkie Takeover with Meredith and Amy. If you guys are interested in watching Seeking Sister Wife and hearing the recaps, that's over on Pink Shade Prime. That is at the $5 level. We're talking about Seeking Sister Wife and we're talking about 90 Day Fiancé, the single life. We're finishing that up. Caribbean Life is next. Thank the Lord. We'll get a new show in mid-April. That will be great. So that's what's happening over there. And I'm going to be adding another show to the $10 level after I get done with this LA trip. So stay tuned for that. And also on the $10 level, all the episodes are ad-free. So you can put that link for Supercast and Patreon right in your podcast app and get those episodes ad-free if that's what you want. Otherwise, listen to the ads. Those are great too. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. I'll be in LA later this week, but I'll be keeping you posted over there on the Instagram at Pink Shade Pod. We've got lots of fun things and lots of podcasters to meet up with. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all my friends. And I'll see you tomorrow with 90 Day Fiancé,
Okay,
Happily
guys,
Ever After,
I'm
and
so
later in
excited
the
to
week
welcome
with
to the
Bravo,
show.
Deanna
It's
Chang.
Nick and Jennifer.
Thanks, y'all. From Seeking Sister Wife, the Davis family. Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Hi.
everyone.
Thanks so much for doing this. This is so fun. When this episode comes out, it's going to be Monday. So Seeking Sister Wife airs on Monday nights on TLC. So we can't talk about ahead, but we could talk about what happened last week with the drama with Danielle and all that. But first, I want to ask you guys some basic questions. Okay. What are April and Danielle doing right now?
Right now, April is still asleep, and Danielle had some errands to run, so she's kind of out and about making moves.
Okay. I love that for April. I'm a late sleeper too. And now, Nick, tell me your original thoughts for living the plural life. Now, we heard you joke about Jack Tripper on Three's Company. But what originally drew you to this life, and like how old were you when you started thinking like this is kind of something I want to explore?
All right, and just to the point, as far as Jack Tripper goes, I understand that Three's Company was not a show about polygamy, but just as a child, yes, I didn't understand. So
of course.
Make sure
and also he was pretending to be gay. So
sure, right, and there's that aspect. So, but just the setup is what appealed to me. This is something I've kind of been involved with even before I knew to call it polygamy. I mean, even as far back as I can remember, even in high school, I can remember that having girlfriends was not something I did very often. When there was someone I'd be interested in, I was always upfront and I would let them know, like, I'm probably not going to be a good boyfriend because you're probably not going to be my only girlfriend. And I would be honest and upfront about that. It was never anything that I would try to hide or try to deceive anyone about. So having relationships with multiple women is something that I've always kind of, I don't know, it just appealed to me. I mean, why wouldn't it, I suppose? But Yeah, it's definitely something that's been with me for quite a while.
And so you first met April. Did you meet April in college or around college age, it seems like?
We did, yes. I met April during my second year of college. Um, we didn't start
Okay.
dating until maybe another year after that or so. But
Okay. And then how
and
long were you with April? And she had a son from a previous relationship. And how long were you with April? A long time, right? Before you guys met Jennifer. And then how did that come about?
right, yeah, April and I were together for a number of years. I think maybe close to 6 or 7 years. Uh, maybe longer than that. How long was it for? Maybe longer.
About
Yeah, something like that. But when I first got with April, I was already in a relationship.
Hmm.
So I brought April into that relationship. It was, something I
Oh,
had discussed with the two of them, and that was my first um, real solid plural relationship, I would
well,
say.
where is that person now?
She's, just living her life, doing her
She's
thing.
around.
Yeah, sure. she's. I hope
So
she's
she didn't want to like, it just ended up not being for her and she left
exactly.
or, yeah.
Well, so um, there was some. It wasn't. It was a rocky transition to say the
Mm.
least. But we were together for a number of years. The three of us, that previous person, and April and myself, we were together for a long time. It was a decent relationship. A number of years that we were
Yeah.
together, but the other individual was not interested in expanding the family any further as
Okay.
April and I were. And so
Okay.
that's ultimately sort of what led to our breakup is that we just kind of went in different directions. And so about, I don't know, maybe a year or 2 or 3 years after that relationship ended is when April met Jennifer.
Okay, now Jennifer, where did you meet April? And April comes up to you and was like, "Hey, you want to date my husband?" Like, what were you thinking?
and this is the craziest story, right? Because it happened so organically, which I love. So April and I were working together, and so I think from the start, I'm just kind of there doing my job, and I think April understood that her relationship with Nick was seeking somebody else, and so at some point April ended up asking me to come hang out with her outside of work. And
Hmm.
then Nick showed up. And then, it kind of just like slid into the fact that, oh, okay, this is the lifestyle that we're living. And we're interested in you, to be a part of our relationship in this way. And so, as I kind of naturally was already, getting familiar with April and understanding, who she is and how she operates, I was able to easily transition into meeting Nick and understanding, their dynamic and what they're looking for, in their relationship. And it just kind of happened naturally. I had never heard about polygamy before.
Really?
It was a whole new thing. It's not like I was like, oh, they're
Yeah.
polygamous, they're,
Yeah.
anything like that. It just kind of happened where I started falling for Nick, and and he swept me away. And I realized, I'd rather be with him no matter whatever circumstance there is, um,
Yeah.
and to make it happen. And so it was a smooth transition, but I definitely applaud all the women in Nick's life, like leading up to me being with Nick, because it paved the roadway for Nick and I to be together ultimately. Sometimes it's trial and error, but ultimately it's like this does work.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? I mean, I think you have to have a certain kind of mindset for it. I think we heard a couple on this past week's show saying, like, it's not for me. I'm not judgmental, but it's not for me. But then at the end of the episode, she's like, well, he's a
So
nice looking guy and she seems cool. So why
Yeah.
not? It's fun to have a friend. So have you ever felt, Jennifer, have you ever felt sort of what we're seeing with Danielle? just that hesitancy or that concern of like what we've got here is good, so we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to bring somebody in that's going to leave, and especially now there's children involved. Have you ever felt that way, Jennifer, like what we're seeing with Danielle?
So I remember, at some point we had a conversation. I remember we were taking a walk outside, and it was a conversation that, April and Nick brought up to me, that this relationship is something we're looking to expand on. And how do you feel about that? And, here's kind of the boundaries of how that would happen. And I remember at first, having the same reaction as Danielle as, I know that right now this works so well, me, Nick, and April, and trying to fathom the idea of somebody else coming along and working just as well with us all. Because, the more people there are, the more personalities there are, the more potential clashes or, maybe disagreements there are. And so, that's definitely a concern. And I had that as well. But it ended up being, just kind of letting the waters take you, letting it go and see what happens, and kind of just diving in head first. I think ultimately it's like, we're like, okay, well, let's just do it together, and let's just go out and see what happens.
I think that's great. I think that you guys, because we see some other couples that seem maybe disingenuous or they're doing it for other reasons. And then some, what we saw with the Winders, I feel like they were in it for real. Like they grew up polygamous. They grew up sort of like offshoot of Mormon. So you see some people doing it for religious reasons. Some people doing it for you guys are just sort of all in agreement. This is the lifestyle you want. And then you see some people on the show that like, okay, clearly this person just wants to have sex with lots of people, like sometimes you could tell the difference. And I think that's why you guys have staying power on the show, because you all the women genuinely seem to love and support each other. And then, Nick, you don't seem like you're out there like, I'm just trying to like bang 20 chicks in a week, right?
Right, for sure.
Excuse my language.
That's okay.
Okay, now I have a burning question for y'all that maybe someone has asked you, maybe someone hasn't. But Danielle, so she left for a few days. She took her plants, which was sad, and she left. And then she returned. Now, how long was it until she returned? That's my first question.
Before she was fully back living in the house, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was at least I want to say at least a week, maybe a couple weeks. I don't know, something like that.
So
yeah,
what
around
happened to her lease? My question is, what happened to her lease? If she signed a lease, what happened to her lease? That's my burning question.
She ended up telling them that she's breaking the lease, and she's no longer going to be living there.
Yeah. So there was some penalty involved, and
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, did she have to pay like 3 months, or these are the little things that I get very bogged down.
Sure, yeah. There was some penalty. We had kind of had to pay. Kind of had to take a little hit on the credit for a couple months.
Yes,
something.
right.
So, it was just some rebuilding, but it wasn't terrible.
Next question is your 12-foot bed. Okay. What if you guys bring in like 2 more people? Are you going to have to get like a 12-foot and a 6-foot and put them side by side? Like, how will you?
I think.
Have you thought about this before?
We have to get 2 of these beds. Like, I don't know.
So we definitely have room for 1 more, maybe another. We'll have to see. But
okay. Who has to sleep in the middle, or do you rotate? Because I wouldn't want to be in the middle all the time.
I love to be in the middle, so that's my favorite spot to be at. That's where I like to sleep. And
okay, because
I'm usually the last one out of bed anyway, so
okay,
it works out like that.
Okay, I just imagine April's upstairs right now, just like starfishing in the middle of the bed. She's like, look at all this space with nobody in here.
Oh, there'll be times where we'll all be in the bed and I'll still wake up like horizontally or something like that. Like I'll still be like, for some reason, kind of tossing and turning in the night. But
oh my gosh,
there really is plenty of space in our bed. There's lots of room for everybody. So
Is it like 2 king beds or like 3 king beds?
They're like California kings. Yeah. So it's
2
like,
king beds together. Okay.
yeah, sure.
It
But
still
not
seems
just
tight.
regular kings, not just regular kings, like the big extra, Alaskan, California kings,
Yeah.
to those.
Okay.
So, it's
I'm in a California king with my husband, and he's 6'4", and I
oh,
am
you
like,
right on.
if in the middle of the night, somebody touches me, I'm like, So that's why I'm like, you gotta really love some togetherness in the bed because that's too much
We
for
do.
me.
I mean, Jennifer and I usually sleep pretty tight anyway.
Uh-huh.
April gets hot,
Yeah.
and Danielle kind of does too. So, there's that. But
They can
Jennifer's
get on the
usually
ends so they can flop their
Yeah,
covers off.
that's the thing. Sometimes, right? We need a fan
Yeah.
pointed towards one person or the other. We
Yes.
all have
Yes.
our own unique sleeping needs.
And although we do have one big, large comforter that fits the entire bed, we all have our own blankets. So
Okay, that's good. That's good. Does anybody snore?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. In different ways. Harmony, I think, we should probably at some point take a recording.
And see where everybody's at.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely. Nobody is like making any sort of crazy noises, I will say. So that kind of makes it a little easier for, us all sleeping together. Isn't it?
Nobody's got sleep apnea. That's good.
Okay.
We have a machine for that.
Okay.
There's a CPAP now. So.
Oh, that's hilarious. So, whoever has the CPAP's got to be on the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's true. Yeah.
All right, y'all, let's talk about bras. You know how I feel about bras. I've been talking about it since the pandemic. I love a sleeping bra. I like to wear a sleeping bra all day. Sometimes you really can't. Sometimes you have to look presentable in public. And I have found the perfect bra. That is the Honey Love crossover bra because it's so comfortable that you can sleep in it, but also you don't look like you're wearing your, pajamas out in public, which I've been known to do. The crossover bra is so comfortable. It's going to be your new go-to. It gives all the support of a traditional bra, but with no underwire. And it's got that mesh detailing that gives you just a little touch of sexy, even though, I'm not one to, talk about such things, but it does. And this is the one bra you'll actually enjoy wearing and you won't be dying to take off. You guys, I've been known to take my bra off like in my car and then shove it in my purse and hope nobody notices. Like, it's not cute. So with Honey Love, you don't have to do any of that. And you won't have that bulge in the back, where it like squirts out of like the back of the bra. You don't have that. Honey Love's bras are designed with this back smoothing fabric to prevent that, which, if you ever see a picture of yourself from behind and you're wearing the wrong bra, you're like, why didn't anybody tell me? So there's also a more relaxed bra that they have. It's called the V bra. It offers that traditional support, but without the underwire. Again, it's designed to lift, separate. It's got the molded cups, and it's not like a shelf-like bra that gives you that uniboob, because God knows that's what I have going on with my other sleep bras. And they also have leggings and shapewear, and I've got some of the shapewear high-waist panties. You guys are so good, but again, so comfortable. So treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/pinkshade. You're going to use our exclusive link to get 20% off. That's honeylove.com/pinkshade. And after you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. That's honeylove.com/pinkshade for 20% off. Treat yourself to Honey Love because you deserve it. You guys know what I hate more than anything in the world is when the family says, what's for dinner? And usually it's because we've just eaten lunch and now we're talking about dinner. We always order takeout because it's just easier, but it's never really satisfying and it just doesn't hit home as much as a home-cooked meal does. I love my meal kits. Being able to feast on a delicious meal without the long prep and cook times is what drew me to HomeChef in the first place. I'm not going to be a great chef any day ever. It's too late for me, but with HomeChef, I feel like I can can really make something. I read the instructions. There's very little prep. There's very little cleanup. I like the classic meal kits, but you can also get the ones that are speedy, ready in less than 30 minutes. The oven ready kits, they have quick microwave meals. You can do anything to fix your whole family's needs. They have a variety of dietary needs, so you don't have to worry about what to make ahead of time and if it's going to be okay for what everybody wants. They even have these kids meals now that are best for even the pickiest eater. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life. And of course, free shipping on your first box. You're going to go to homechef.com/pinkshade. That's homechef.com/pinkshade for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. Yes, you heard that right. homechef.com/pinkshade. You have to be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert, but you're going to want it. Do it. Now, okay, so Nick, so you're currently staying home with baby Vera. Now, first of all, who is Vera named after and how old is she now?
Oh, wow. Right now, Vera's 20 months.
Okay, almost 2. Yeah.
Yeah, almost 2. So she's getting there. Her name was, it was kind of an interesting thing. It was actually Jennifer's sister. She's a botanist.
Okay.
And she had spoken to Jennifer at some point about a certain plant called Baragwanathia is the name of the plant, Baragwanathia. And it was the first plant, I guess, that all the rest of the flowering plants came from.
Okay.
It's called a Baragwanathia. And for a while, we were just kind of playing around with that. I just liked the way that word sounded, Baragwanathia. It sounded kind of neat. So I kind of started breaking that up a little bit. And that's when I split that word in half, Baragwanathia. That's kind of where I started finding the Vera. My mother's name is Vanessa.
Okay.
So I was like, instead of Vera, we'll say Vera.
Yeah.
That seemed like it worked okay. And so her name actually comes from a plant. Her full name is Vera Gwanathia Davis.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's...
I did not expect you to say that. I thought you were going to be like, that was my grandma's name. I was really close to her. Okay, I did not expect you to say that. That's interesting.
No,
Vera
it
is
was a plant that we...
Old-fashioned, it's like an old-fashioned name, right, that's coming back. A lot of the old-fashioned names come back, and Vera is one of those. I really love it. I love those old-fashioned names, but it's a plant.
It is, yeah. It's got a...
I love it.
And the plant's pronounced a little differently, but yeah, that's definitely where the name came from.
And then, Vera itself, we started looking at the meaning and, it being victory and, kind of leading the way. And so, we found that was appropriate. Yeah.
That's cute. That's cute. That's cute. So, April has a son that she came into the relationship with that I'm sure that you all consider your child too, because he's been with you from the beginning. Is he high school or college now, and is he in the house as well?
He is here. Yeah, he's
there?
Just in his finishing up his junior. He is. Yes, he's finishing up his junior year of high school now. So.
Okay, and what does he think of all this, the TV show and all this? Yeah, what does he think?
He's been absolutely amazing about just our lifestyle in general, and the show, and there's there's definitely been conversations with him, just to let him know, how he can really soak this all in. But I think overall he does not let maybe his friends or school or society in general dictate how he should feel about our relationship
and about his family. Yeah. So he's got a really strong self-identity, and I think that helps a lot, just with the transition of going from, obscurity to some notoriety. There are times, I guess, when we might be at a school where we've been recognized and things.
Yeah.
It's always been a pleasant experience, but
this has been his life for so long now. I mean, he grew up, with there being multiple women in the household. And so, he's very familiar and comfortable with that too. And so I think that helps.
It was definitely something that early on when we first got involved with the show that I was really paying a lot of close attention to. Just making sure that our involvement with the show wasn't affecting him in any sort of negative way, especially in his academic performance and things like that. I mean, I never mentioned it, but I mean, had our involvement with the show had some sort of negative impact on his grades or anything, I'm sure we probably would have reconsidered our involvement further. But thankfully, it wasn't an issue. He's been really great about it.
That's great. Okay, now Nick, you've gotten a lot of flack because you, at least in the podcasting world and online and stuff, you got a lot of flack. A lot of guys are like, I wish I could be Nick and just stay home and read books. So you get a lot of flack because you said, in the first season, I think you said you stayed home and study and the women work. Yeah. And then the women marry each other. So it seems like the criticism is, you have no legal obligation here at all. And you could just like walk away at any time. But of course, obviously you're not going to do that. But the question is, you feel like at some point, like you could go to work and let one of the women take a turn staying at home, or this is like, listen, when I first had kids, my husband and I made agreement. I stayed home with the kids. So it seems to me it's a little bit of your feelings on the double standard of people saying like you shouldn't be the one staying home.
Right. Yeah. It's not something that I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay home and you all go to work. It's almost more of the opposite situation.
No, we tell him. Yeah. No.
Okay.
I mean, I can start an argument in my household really easy if I just bring up the idea or the potential of me going to work or getting a job, or maybe I could help out and bring in another check in, and that'll escalate into the kind of conversation I don't want to have. So it's really is something that isn't just something that I'm pressing on them. It's more the opposite. There's oftentimes where I'm like, are you guys sure you don't need me to or want me to? I don't mind, going out, and I don't mind working. I have nothing against working or having a job or anything like that. But what's most important to me is keeping my wives happy. And so if my wives are happier with me at home, well, then even, at the risk of being ridiculed, I accept my wife's happiness over that. So.
And okay, let's talk about the marriage part. So because it is unusual, like you do see polygamous families where like nobody's ever actually legally married, or you marry one wife and then in the case of the Merrifields, don't even get me started. He divorced his wife to bring somebody on a K-1 visa. It's such a mess. So in this situation, this is different. We haven't seen this where you have the women marry each other. So tell me about the concept of that and how you came up with that idea.
Yeah, and not to knock how any other families arrange their polygamy things. This is just how it seems to work best for us. But it just really seemed like the best way to make the ground even. I never want any of my wives to feel less or left out or anything like that. I'm very strict on making sure there is no sort of hierarchy or anything that forms. And that was what I thought was the best way to do that, so that they both felt that we are making a commitment to this relationship, but I don't want any of them to feel like their commitment is more substantial than the other. So it just seemed appropriate to have them marry each other.
And then if you bring in another wife, and maybe that will happen this season, we don't know yet. If you bring in another wife, will you have another commitment ceremony like we saw last season?
I feel like if it gets to the point where we would want to integrate them as being another sister wife, yes. I think we're all about, making sure everyone does have that experience, if they want to really share this life with us.
It was really cool, I thought. Yeah.
Oh, that works for me. I mean, as long as it's something that they want. I mean, That's the thing too. It's like, it's not like any aspects of our relationship are not necessary or mandated. For example, like sleeping in the bed together. If we were with someone who didn't want to sleep in the big bed together and they wanted to sleep in a different part of the house, that would be fine.
That's okay.
We don't have any problem with that. We all sleep in the same bed together because we want to. So if that person was interested in having a collective ceremony like that, then yeah, we most certainly would, but it wouldn't be required.
Right. Yeah, if they didn't, that's definitely okay, because I know, we all value things maybe a little bit differently too. They might not, as long as they feel solidified in our relationship, because it's something that they want, that's more important than any of it to us.
Even the marriage factor. If someone was with us but didn't necessarily want to become legally married, that would be okay too, as long as they still felt that their commitment in our relationship was solidified.
Okay, I got it. Well, I have another question. Have you guys met any of these other couples that we've seen these past few seasons in the current season? Have you met any of them? Are you in touch with them at all?
We haven't officially face to face or met up with any of the other cast members, but we have had correspondence through messages with different cast members, kind of throughout last season and a little bit of this season too.
Just kind of hey, hi, touch base.
Yeah, and then another question is when you're seeking, because we know how April met Jennifer. So when you're seeking, how do you find someone? Because you tell them up front, this is what we're seeking. It's not going to be a monogamous thing, and you need to get along with the other women. How does that happen? How does that start?
There's a dating profile that my wives have set up. A lot of our meetings are through dating profiles. So that kind of makes things simple, I think, in a way, because we can just kind of present exactly who we are and what we're looking for right there in the profile. So I think that's...
Yeah. It lays it all out right from the beginning, because, we don't want any surprises. We want to give people the opportunity to really kind of think this out before they dive in. And they know from the get-go that kind of this is our relationship and this is what we're looking for. And I think since we've done that, there's been it's been a lot more focused in who we meet and what that person is looking for too. So I think that's definitely been a good way to go about it, because right from the start they already understand okay. And another point too is, I think it's okay, we're looking for another person, but especially with Danielle, what we also wanted to let someone else know that's coming into the relationship is, we are looking for another person, but also we are looking in general to expand, kind of beyond. And so, kind of those two aspects. And I think, more recently, more of the issue was expanding beyond, and I think, it's really important for us to put on our profile that, in general, that's what we're looking for as a family, so that person knows from the start that
there could
potentially be more than them. But it's also really, really important for us to let that person know that they still have their own place in our family, if it is the right person. And so that's been the main focus for us, is making sure yes, we want to expand, but just know you still have your place.
Yeah. Wow. Well, more kids? Are there more kids coming? Yeah.
We're growing in more ways than just adding sister wives. We hope to grow the family with more children as well. And so, I recently gave birth to Vera. And so, we're passing the torch, if you will. And so, we'll see what happens next.
Okay. That's awesome. So tell me what you can without spoiling anything. What's coming up for you guys on this season of Seeking Sister Wife?
Ooh. Well, we gotta see if we can get this Danielle situation resolved. That still needs to come around. So gotta stay tuned to see how that goes, because
more seeking,
more
more dating.
More seeking, more dating for sure. I think that now that we are, we built so much with Danielle, and we love Danielle so much. And so, we're really just kind of seeing how this goes with her, obviously giving her kind of the room to understand how she wants to proceed in her own life. And just being there ready to understand and be there how we can. And, in general, I think we are overall, still looking to kind of grow our family, kids, more sister wives. Now we're kind of settling into our new home, and just furthering our life and kind of just continuing to build together.
And Mary Payne, even the expansion of our family is something that I let my wives kind of take the helm on, take the lead on. I don't have any particular set idea of how many wives we'll have. I just figure at some point we'll all just recognize that we're kind of where we want to be, and I think it'll go from there. But the drive to add more wives, that comes from my wives more than it does me. I think
That's
they also, I agree.
It's interesting. It's just like when you're done, you're done. It's sort of like when you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
I always like to say we're kind of putting a band together.
Yeah. And when it's all just right, you'll know.
Yeah.
I like that analogy. That's good. Well, you guys are a joy to watch because you seem to really all genuinely love each other. And like I said, it's not to compare you to other people on the show, but we've seen some other shows. There's Seeking Brother Husband, and there's other shows that some of the people don't seem quite as, I don't know, maybe their heart's not in the right place with it. And I feel like with you guys, you all genuinely love each other separately and together, and I think it's very sweet. And so tell everybody, I follow you guys on social media, but tell all my listeners where they can follow you guys on social media to follow the Davis family.
So you guys can all follow us on Instagram at the Davis Family Official page. If you search for the Davis Family Official, it should pop up there.
Okay.
And we also have our own individual Facebook profiles as well. But collectively, our group Instagram is primarily where we post family updates and different things like that.
Okay, that's so cool. Don't hang up, but I want to thank you guys for meeting with me and talking to me. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. It was nice to put a face to the TV screen that I look at every week.
It was wonderful.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.